Last session, the party and Ethel. I don't know if I want to put her into a box yet. Both the party and Ethel found themselves attending the Von Teppler Masquerade. The sort of party proper arrived with Rufus, Delia, and Kahlo in a carriage steered by Malus Marcus. After some conversations with a couple people on in the residence, the party departed. Meanwhile, Ethel gave her great niece, because she is both her great niece and a great niece.
Exactly.
A pep talk before her family, the Amblin family, also departed to attend the masquerade. Upon arriving, the groups went through the traditional, being introduced, wherein a number of people, there were some varied reactions to the Von Tepplers, who were greeting the guests. Some were positive, like Monty seeing Lynn. Some were less positive, like Reagan seeing Elaine and Erwin. But the important thing is, nobody died.
Yeah.
Yet.
Which was that was a big thing. The party then kind of set themselves up in the base of operations at one of the tables, wherein they were approached by Mr. Morris Kipling, who was there for some reason. And then when they went to get a drink, they found Hortensia Crow acting as a bartender, the world's least discreet bartender, certainly. No attempt at casting disguise self or anything was made clearly on her part. Everyone seemed to be getting a handle on the masquerade and what they were doing when a mysterious young nobleman arrived with 4 of his retainers. He was announced as Duke Reinhard von Himmel of the Duchy of Estonia. And upon conferring with Erwin von Teppler, very briefly, who looked very surprised to see him, he locked eyes with Monty, walked up, slapped him across the face with his glove, and challenged him to a duel. They dueled, despite a rather impassioned and a sort of finger-wagging, in the best way, lecture from Brika to Reinhardt about how this is not how you do things.
Claws were wagged?
Mm-hmm. Young man?
I mean, it was a pretty solid appeal to not being shitty, but Reinhardt seemed set in his ways. Over the course of the duel, a few things happened. Number 1, Monty said some things to Reinhardt, which seemed to push him in one direction or another, where you're not exactly sure yet. Reinhardt ended up winning the duel, despite some rather peculiar behavior as a duelist, but even if he had wanted to strike a final blow, as soon as Monty fell to the ground, Delia, Rufus, and Kahlo were there, ready to protect him. Additionally, interestingly enough, Brika drew 3 cards. And we'll get into that in a bit, but the way the session ended was Reinhardt limping off with his ruin of a leg from Monty's spell and from his taking the brunt of the falling damage from Monty's descent. The party, as well as Rufus, Delia, and Kahlo, kind of surrounding Monty to helping him get back on his feet, thanks to a rather potent healing potion given to them by Griffin, Grousebane.
Who we're still not cool with. I just want to get that out there.
That's fair. Griffin is a little confused as to everything that just happened there himself. All the while, Ethel is in sort of the crowd watching. When a few things happened. Number 1, Anastasia Minata finally arrived at the masquerade, with not many people to actually notice her arrival.
That was Reinhardt's play all along.
She has sort of come out to the grounds, and she greeted you all very diplomatically in public. At her side was a young man dressed in very rich attire, a statuesque woman of the Sadan Desert who is staring very intently at Brika and who looks human. Reagan noticed a figure wearing what looked to be a weeping mask, sort of further back, who, upon locking eyes with Reagan, sort of drifted back into the shadows. And Montague, the last thing you heard was a familiar voice saying,
"That is quite curious magic."
So we're all still kind of clustered together around Monty?
Yeah, everyone's all kind of teamed up, and Lynn is there. Lynn is currently there.
Okay, Katie, are Monty and Lynn, crouched on the ground?
Yeah, Monty was on the ground, and then Lynn went down to hug him, and he just hugged her back and didn't say anything.
Yeah, okay. Reagan stands up. She was down there too.
Yay!
The first action has been cast.
So Reagan stands up, is that
Reagan
what happens?
stands up.
Rico
Okay.
will also stand up,
Shit.
but it's much less noticeable because she's very small.
We are nailing this.
Fuck yeah, we're cool!
And Anastasia was addressing us directly. What did she say again? What have we here?
She sort of just, arrived and said, "Well, what have we here?"
Oh, I had one more question. Are the Von Tepplers outside other than Lynn?
You don't see them, but you do remember that Erwin had been trying to talk Reinhardt down.
Yeah, we ran into him at the door, but I don't see him outside.
Roll a perception check.
That would be a 19.
Okay. You don't break eye contact with Anastasia, but you're sort of out of the corner of your eyes. You do see Erwin is sort of like a ring was made around the sort of arena. Like, y'all are in the middle. On one side is Anastasia facing you and her party, and then essentially, like, on the exact opposite side is Erwin.
Okay. Then I don't think Reagan does anything.
Reagan just stands there.
No, you know what? Fuck that. Hey! Annie! Sup?
There is some audible whispering at that.
Good.
Oh shit.
A little disrespectful, I would imagine,
The term decorum is not used lightly in Intella.
It is not in Reagan Kayam's vocabulary.
Okay, Monty is also going to try and pick himself up and then help Lynn up as well.
Also, Reagan is between Monty and Lynn and Anastasia. She has positioned herself there.
Yay.
Kind of arms crossed. Sup?
As you do that, Monty, you go to stand, and your knees kind of buckle a bit, and Lynn actually catches you a bit,
Yes.
and she gets an arm under your shoulder, and
Thank you.
she's just kind of staring at Anastasia, sort of this kind of unreadable look on her face, even through the mask.
Monty, good evening. It's a pleasure to see you again, Lady Minata. It's been a while.
Suck up.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, session 1 dynamics. How I missed thee.
Rika gestures vaguely at Lady Minata and mutters under her breath, "Great, now we have to deal with this shit."
Oh, that's fair. But Monty's the talker. He's gotta talk.
If she was surprised with this, she does not show it, and she just kind of smiles, and she says, "It's been some time. How have you been?"
I'm good. And Reagan, loops her arm back with Rufus and starts walking back inside.
Oh no!
Nope, I'm out.
Monty gives just the longest suffering sigh.
If she succeeds at, starting to walk inside, by the way, I do want her to shoulder check Anastasia.
Oh god.
So you do walk past Anastasia to get inside, but as you are walking, she sort of turns her smile towards Rufus, and she says, "Champion, I see you still have a talent for getting involved in duels that shouldn't really be happening." He says, No, that's Delia. I'm just kind of here."
Just kind of follow her lead,
She sort of smiles at that. Are you trying to shoulder check?
Yes.
No!
No.
Just a light one, just enough so that Anastasia knows that Reagan doesn't give a shit about her.
Bitch, you're gonna get stabbed!
Worth it.
Can you roll me an athletics?
I certainly can. It's a 17.
Okay. So you feel a little resistance from Rufus?
He's don't, please don't.
he's kind of trying to like as subtly as he can like prevent a shoulder check.
Too bad.
Oh, no.
And he has what is his? Wait, actually, does he? What is his modifier?
Probably a lot.
He rolled a 9, but he's a +9 on athletics.
Oh, so he beats her. Buzzkill.
Oh, thank God.
So since you both are since Rufus is wearing like sleeves, no one can see just like the utter strain he has in trying to prevent you.
The power struggle.
You guys are like arm wrestling with your with your hands held.
It is like millimeters away from happening.
He's just like, nope.
But he barely manages to get you past without.
Reagan kind of side-eyes him, and under her breath, you never let me have any fun.
And as you're walking away, he says, well, from what you told me, the last time that you saw her, she was trying to get you killed, and that seems like something to just not deal with ever, and just be somewhere else.
No, I mean, you make an excellent point, but I don't think that the difference between her trying to kill me and not was going to come down to me being pompous or... It's fine. It's fine. That's our first fight.
You just ruined my night, but it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. You're beautiful. It's fine.
It's fine. You're probably right. It's fine. She's gonna kind of, once they get through the door, kind of linger there, because she does want to make sure that Monty and Brika and company make it in.
Sure.
But she just wanted to not be outside on the veranda of death anymore. She's like, nah, I'm over it. And she wanted to pull that power move of just walking away from Anastasia Manata.
Gotcha.
Oh, by the way, just a quick aside, before we move on with Anastasia being passive-aggressive at us, what happened to my book? I was, wasn't I midair when I fell?
Oh yeah. Don't worry.
And my floating book?
I know where your floating book is, Monty.
No, I don't like this, Andrew, and I would like to know where my floating book is. It would be nice if you could share that information with me, the person who needs that book to survive the night.
Roll a perception check for me, Monty.
I have a theory about where your book is.
Oh, I have a fucking theory! Oh, I know where it is! And I know where it's going, right up Manada's ass!
Please don't put a book up someone's ass in public.
I don't know if Rufus will let you.
Are you ready?
What'd you get?
A nat one.
Oh no!
It's hard.
I am lost in Lynn's eyes.
No.
Oh no! Oh, that was bad. That one's going right over. You're going on the table.
It is difficult to see.
You know,
There are a lot of
what is a
people
book,
around.
really?
What is a book?
So there's a crowd of people, and there's a crowd of people, and you know, in sort of the melee of with Reinhardt, you definitely lost vision of it.
Yeah.
Anastasia, upon Rufus kind of snubbing her a bit, which elicits no small amount of like murmurs.
I mean, Reagan
God.
snubbed her, but
It's
Rufus is the important one.
It's a choice that is made, and there are certainly those within Hintilla who choose to say what they wish to say, not through themselves, but through the person they are attending with.
fine.
She keeps her demure smile, and she turns towards, or she sort of keeps her eyes towards the party still there, specifically Monty and Lynn. And she says, "It's so good to see the two of you again. I always had a feeling about you."
What type of feeling would that be, lady?
Oh, 2 peas in a pod.
Well, I mean, we did meet in the library. What do you expect?
Honestly, I'm not entirely certain, but this is good. I like this.
I like this. This is bad for Lynn.
No.
Well, because of Monty's whole, thing. Probably. Not because Monty's a bad boy. He's a good boy.
Hey, Monty can be bad.
I'm over here going off into, the end of Grease, but Monty is Olivia Newton-John. Because
my
for
God,
some
please draw him
reason,
in
I
that whole
couldn't
getup.
picture him in Sandy Zuko. So it's like,
I love
clearly, he needs to be sewn into.
By the way, is Reagan still within an eye line of Monty and Brika?
Yeah.
Lingering?
Yeah.
She is going to gesture for them to come inside, because she's just like, hey, that's not a good place to be right now. Let's just all go. Let's all go to the bathroom together.
Well, I need my book, though.
That's fair. She doesn't notice you don't have your book. Reagan doesn't
Yeah.
give a shit about your book, so.
Monty gives her a curt little nod, but keeps his attention on Anastasia.
Anastasia just says, I must say, it was quite the duel. Duke Reinhardt certainly seems peculiar, but apparently 2 years of bloody war will, apparently it changes any of us.
I'm not gonna press you from across the room about this.
Brika's gonna like nudge Monty, be like, you should probably, sit down, go inside, relax for a minute. You kind of got the tumbled and da-da-da.
Well, I need my book. I must have dropped it.
Has anybody
when
seen
I
the book?
Fell. It's a very big book.
A really big book.
Oh, and before we start running off on that tangent, Monty does his best while still holding on to Lynn to kind of give one of his bows to Anastasia Manata.
Yeah, give me a performance check.
Oh,
damn.
that's mean.
You have +3 charisma. You're
You're fine.
Oh, shit.
Not like Reagan and Brika +0.
Yeah, right?
The no charisma pals.
Mm-hmm.
There's gotta be a better
I
name
have
for that, but
+5
they have no
charisma.
charisma, so they can't come up with one.
literally, Wisteria has the most charisma of anyone, but she just chooses to use it for evil.
Hey,
Yeah,
guys.
basically.
Hey, guys.
What?
Good fucking news.
What?
With the modifier, that's a 5.
Woo!
Okay.
You're in bad
Just
shape.
let me collapse so I can end this fucking nightmare.
You go to kneel, and as you do, your leg just kind of like buckles a bit, and you just go down to a knee.
Oh my.
Lynn managed to keep you from falling off completely because she has her arm like up under your like armpit.
Yeah.
But you're still kind of just shaken from what just happened. When as you kind of look up, you see your book, and a hand is offering it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you very much. Who
Me
is
too.
attached to this hand?
Whose hand?
I bet I know.
I bet we all know.
A scaled hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sure is.
Yep.
And Monty, you look up and you see a familiar face. And she says,
I must say that is quite curious magic you employ.
Monty just screams. No, I'm just kidding.
No, well, thank you. I taught myself. Should I roll a performance check?
for
Because-
for what?
Because the color is trying to drain out of Monty's face.
I don't think we need to check yet.
Okay, that's good.
She says,
I must say I would be curious to hear the origin of this book, though. It is not often that I encounter someone who practices such, shall we say, specific magic. Mr. Pensmith, was it?
Yes, Montague Pensmith. It's a pleasure to meet you.
A pleasure.
Not for the first
As
time.
we've seen from the events of the evening, I really would rather bow and show my respect, but that's not happening.
Suck up.
Oh, there is no need to bow to me. I am simply a guest of the Von Tepplers, as Lady Lynn can attest. I simply wish to stay out of their way and take care of my business in the city.
Lynn, do you know her? Would you introduce me, perhaps?
yes, this is, Lady Osiris.
Oh, no lady needed. Simply Cesaris will suffice. I'll let you go for now, but
What wording?
I'll have to find you later in the evening to pick your ear about the particular applications of the Tramus Fordum.
Which is it's an arcane principle, which you are familiar with.
Okay.
That is sort of based, the Trammels Fordum is sort of it's one of the principles around why your book is like more active as opposed to a passive focus.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I certainly look forward to it, Ladies Osiris. It's a pleasure to meet you. Like I said.
Please, Mr. Pensmith. Just Osiris.
Then you must call me Monty.
Very well. Monty.
And he's all smiles.
Brika's gonna take Monty's other side.
Flank that boy.
Because he seems to be, having some trouble, and she doesn't want to put all that on Lynn, so...
Yeah.
So between the two of them, they should be able to get him inside.
Yeah,
Sure.
So if you'll excuse us, Cyrus.
Sure. She sort of nods, and you realize your hands are kind of taken up by being like helped inside. As the book is held out, and then you just see feathered hands around it, and Kahlo says, "I will take this."
Thank you, Kahlo.
He just nods.
What a friend. What a guy. What a pal.
What a bird.
You start walking away as there's sort of like this moment of the four of you are going, and then you realize that Delia's not with you,
Oh no.
She's busy.
and you see Delia is just standing there, arms crossed, kind of just looking at Anastasia,
Fair enough.
head cocked a little bit, and Anastasia says, "Miss Quickfoot, is there anything I can do for you?" And then she says, "Not yet."
Ooh, is that who she's gonna duel? Because that would be...
And Anastasia then follows. Anastasia is about as dramatic as a Kayam when it comes down to it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Wait, she follows our group of friends?
Yeah.
But I wanted to get away from her. God.
Delia? From Delia?
No, I wanted to get away from Anastasia.
Oh, no. Anastasia's fault. Delia follows.
Oh, Delia falls. Okay, cool.
Anastasia goes over to speak to the Archduke because they haven't actually had their,
fair enough.
their little introduction thing. Brika, as you are leaving, you just feel like eyes boring into the back of your head.
Yep.
This
Just-
is fine.
just like this absolute undivided attention.
Rika's gonna make eye contact.
Nice.
Just
How
back
are you?
over Hera. Like,
Brika, you look back and you see the statuesque Satanese woman just staring, head slightly cocked a little bit, as if she's trying to puzzle something out.
Mm-hmm. Brika turns around and goes back in.
Yeah. I think if any of the other ones noticed her doing that, I think Reagan would have noticed since she was watching pretty much that whole thing. That woman doesn't move.
like she doesn't have ambient movement. She looks like she's in a freeze frame.
She looks like an artist's renditioning, like an artist's sculpting of a person that just a kid that just happens to be alive and move sometimes.
Brika, you know her? Who that?
No, now.
Okay.
No.
Good enough for me. Can Reagan look for her sister?
Yeah.
She's scanning the room as everyone's walking in.
Yeah.
14?
Over by the goring table, things have cleared out a bit. Most people were going out to watch the duel because duels are very exciting. You see, Julius is sitting over there alone.
Alone?
You do not see Ellie or Cynthia. Here she is, Cynthia or Claudia.
Okay, that's not great.
I did want to talk to Lord Goring, but I also would like to sit down.
Yeah, hey Monty, let's kill two birds with one stone, and you can go sit over there. Looks like he could use some company, and also, and she claps her hand on his back, I'm proud of you, kid. You did exactly what I told you to do, and you did almost die, but it's all chill. You're good. I'm proud.
I'm sorry, I did have a plan, though.
No apologizing. You did a great job.
You did
You were
very well.
brave. And duels are stupid and immature.
Thank you. Well, I mean, I don't... Lynn, is it bad for you to be seen with Lord Goring? I don't know. I don't want to cause you any trouble.
This is... Things kind of escalated very quickly back there in terms of who was showing up, but I think this is sort of the first moment you realize that Lynn just looks
Shell-shocked.
Shell-shocked and just the shell-shock is just starting to kind of break through into just this look of real confusion and guilt, especially guilt.
You know
a lot
what?
of that.
Lynn,
Yeah.
instead of that, how about you and I just go sit off to the side for a little bit? I'm sure Lord Goring won't mind. He would understand.
Yeah, you kids go rest up. You had a
Go to a
long
secret
last
balcony.
break.
That's what I was gonna do!
That sounds nice. That sounds
Yeah, I'll tell him you said hi.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Yes, send my best to Lord Goring. I'll catch up with him a little bit later.
So you two are going upstairs.
Oh, my book! Kala, may I have my book, please?
He looks at you for a long minute and he says, "But it's mine now."
Kalo, you can't just take people's stuff.
I said I will take this.
Yeah, but Kalo, that's not... No, Kalo, give him his book back.
It's not even shiny.
But it glows sometimes, and I like that.
Hey, Kalo, hold on. Reagan gives him a copper piece. Here, have this instead. I'm going to buy that from you.
He kind of... you throw it at him, and he catches it, like, in his beak. and then he drops it onto the book cover, and he says, "You just made a great mistake, Reagan. A great mistake." And then he hands you the book, Monty.
You fool! You know what, Kalo? You got me.
I love him.
You got me, Kalo. It's... Whew, I'm never going to recover from that, am I, Kalo?
Well, until you have more. But you will never have this one again, because it is mine now.
Yep, it sure is. Alright.
Sure fucking is!
Okay, let's go.
Monty just slings it on his back and ties the bookmark.
I adore that bird.
Fucking superb, you funky little monk!
Delia is going to... She's going to split off on her own. Brika, where are you going?
I guess Brika's gonna stick with Reagan and Rufus for now.
Cool.
Sure. And
Kinda wanted to
Ethel.
go upstairs with Monty, but like...
Like, they're gonna have, like, a private moment.
No, he's with his girlfriend. He's fine.
Oh, and Reagan's not with her boyfriend.
Whatever.
I get it. I'm not as cool as you. I'm not cool anymore. I get it. Just be safe, okay? Be safe.
Make good choices.
Go over to the boring table.
So while it's happening, Ethel, what have you been up to this whole time?
Ethel.
Yeah, Ethel.
Well, Ethel was out there watching the duel.
You were. You had an impassioned call to reason. And,
Yes, and it was
good
ignored.
sense. It
We
was
tried.
I think once everyone showed up, like Anastasia and everybody, Ethel probably just kind of... Is there a way to get back inside that isn't, like, right past Anastasia?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, yeah, she probably just kind of heads back inside.
Reagan
sure.
chose that entrance specifically to make a point, so...
I keep waiting for me to be like, "What's Ethel doing?" And then it's like, you know, while that was all happening, I think I just want to have, like, taken out my knife instead of just stabbing people.
You know?
I mean, it's crossed
Just
my
very
mind.
discreet. Yeah, so you walked inside pretty much as soon as Anastasia showed up, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And Lord Limpter is also here?
Yes, Lord Limpter is with Anastasia. He is the nobleman there as well.
Gotcha.
So Ethel, you actually get back there first. You see Lord Goring before any of them show up, and he is saying something to his sister and a young lady, maybe 6, 7 years younger than him, who you have not seen before.
Mm-hmm.
You do remember that when they entered, she was with them.
Right.
And after speaking quietly to Claudia for a moment, she nods and she sort of locks arms with the young lady, and they go strolling out past you, sort of like a longer way into the courtyard. Maybe not necessarily the area of the duel. You do see Hortensia is currently at the bar, at one of the bars. No one is there, but she is still making a mixed drink. You assume for herself.
Oh no.
Hey, you never know.
Yes.
You gotta need it.
Look, if Hortensia's not a wine mom, who is, okay?
Yeah, no, she's a wine mom, 100%.
You also see one of the waiters moving around who, on their nose, they have 3 moles in a vertical pattern.
Ha. Okay.
Stab.
Kill them all. Kill them all. Kill 'em.
Is that lady with Claudia Goring? Is that young woman
Is
the
she
same age as your niece? Is she a
Set 'em up.
potential?
Potential match.
Someone's gonna marry my niece.
I am, like, torn between going to Saria and being like, oh, go hang out with them. Quick, go, 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 go. And I think I will approach the waiter.
The waiter, as you approach, he has these 3 distinct moles. He's a very, like, prominent sort of, like, kind of hooked nose a little bit. It's sort of like a patrician's nose though. Like it's not like super far out, but it's very kind of like long. He has this little, very thin 1920s Hollywood like swashbuckling hero mustache.
Nice.
And he has like very like pointed chin. And he says, "Hello, what may I do for you?"
Sorry, I'm gonna need a minute to recover from that.
Take all the time you'll need. That's right. You all did this to me. I would have never done this voice in any other group. Because it completely takes the oxygen out of the room and makes the stakes immaterial. This is the way to...
Oh, God!
Oh, okay. Yes, hello. I am looking for a particular gentleman, who I believe is here. And I believe you might know where I could find him.
This gentleman, what does he look like?
Well, you know, with the masks and everything, I don't know what he really looks like, but I've completely blanked out on what his mask looked like.
Then it was half black, half white, split in the middle. On the black side, it had an eye hole. On the white side, it was featureless except for a mouth.
Right. Yes, he had a lovely, unusual mask that was black and white, split down the middle.
I see. You wish to speak to the master.
Yes.
Very well. I will send word to him.
Lovely.
When he is ready to see you, you will receive a drink. Compliments of a man who is whispering good things about you. Then you will go up to one of the alcoves on the second floor. We will direct you there when it is done.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Nods and he says, Now do you want to drink for now? I am technically still on the clock.
Certainly. What do you have?
Let me pull up my list of fantasy drinks.
No! Save me.
Yes, because I have a whole fucking goddamn, like, docket of fucking fantasy names for drinks because I'm not gonna be like, oh, do you want, like...
A Manhattan.
Bitch, I want a Kahlua and cream.
Monty, you're too young to drink. You're a baby.
Yeah, Monty, you're like 4 years old. You can't drink.
Oh my god.
You need to go take a nap, okay?
I do need to go take a nap.
Brika will make Monty a Kahlua and cream at home.
At home. If you're gonna drink, I'd rather
drink.
you do
I want you to do it at home.
You need to be safe, Monty. You're gonna be sick. He says, well, we have the classics, of course, the whiskeys, the wines, but we also have the Sudsmouth Brew, Cold Slur, Spark Water, Badger Brew, Sour Swill, Fire Porter, Chrome Bean, Spider Cider, Slow Honey. I could keep going for another, 4 pages.
Please don't.
Please
But
don't.
I'll ease you up
Please
there.
do, please do.
It's fine. Just
I will take, did you have a sparkling cider in there somewhere?
Of course.
Yes, that would be lovely.
One Spark Water coming up. And then he just sort of glides over towards one of the bars, not the one that Hortensia is at.
Thank goodness.
And yes, this French waiter dude isn't, his nose is always kind of up, his chin is upturned, he's always kind of looking down just a little bit at people.
Actually, all I really want in life now is for Andrew to talk to himself as the French waiter in Hortensia.
Yes! So
Well, little did you know, I planned around that never happening. Dodge that fucking bullet. Do you have anything else you want to do before we go back to the nerd herd?
I think I will, in fact, go over to Saria and say, I just saw a couple of young ladies head out to the veranda. I think you should go join them. You might make some friends.
What? I don't even know how do you even do that?
I'll go with you. I can introduce you.
No, it's fine.
anything but that.
Sure.
Introduce you to people you don't know.
I'll try.
That's my girl.
She kind of just very clearly tries to smile, but is very nervous about it. As she drains the rest of her drink, once she's sure that no one else is watching. And then she starts walking over. At this point, I think the others enter in. I think she sort of crosses paths with them very briefly as they're going. So Ethel, you have full view of these people as they enter, and they're sort of talking.
Cool.
You see Monty and Lynn splitting off, and you see Delia sort of going off on her own, and you see the others are beginning to walk over to Julius Goring.
Must interfere with Lynn's relationship, but also must eavesdrop on the Gorings.
Exactly.
I think that as just like the wisteria buffering noise of just.
I love it.
Of like, man, so many options. So many good options.
This is what Andrew was saying when he said we all had a lot of shit coming down the line, is this choice. This moment.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good diversion point, actually, in the campaign as a whole, because if Wisteria's there, maybe Lynn will just be like, you know what? Wisteria's right. You're not good enough for me. And she'll snaps on him and she'll walk away.
Yeah. Okay. What I would like to... Oh, dang, that takes a long time. Darn.
What were you looking to do?
I have a spell called Clairvoyance, which takes 10 minutes to cast, but it lets me make an invisible sensor in a location I've visited or seen, or an obvious location that I haven't. I can choose seeing or hearing, and I can, as an action, I can switch between them, and I can see or hear as if I am where the sensor is.
Okay. So what we can do is, if you wanted to like start doing that now, then I think because Monty's a bit slow going, you could probably get that up there in time, but maybe not. Maybe not in time over by Lord Goring.
Okay, yeah, I wanted it up by Lynn and Monty anyways. So
okay, sure. So what are the components to that?
Verbal somatic material. The material is 100 gold pieces jeweled horn for hearing and 100 gold pieces glass eye for seeing.
Ethel just
I
stands
really
in
only
the corner
want
chanting
hearing.
ominously for 10 minutes.
Yeah, this may not be the best choice now that I think about it.
Roll me a perception check.
That's a 12.
Okay, so you see a place which you think would be like maybe out of the way, but there are also more people filtering in at this point from the outside. So it'd be a bit of a gamble.
As much as I hate everything with Monty and Lynn, I don't think he's a threat, so I'm going to focus on trying to eavesdrop on the Gorings, probably. Or, if the opportunity presents itself, Anastasia.
Roll me just a stealth check.
Oh, okay, alright, okay. It's a 19.
You do the pleasantries of Ethel. You
Yeah.
wander and you chat with people. You say, you ask them how their children are doing and all that, and then you sort of like leapfrog with a surprising amount of efficiency and speed over to the others. Upon arriving there, you sort of like take a seat, a table over, and just kind of like making some protest about all the excitement, and all the excitement of the night is just. I need to sit down for a moment.
Just catch my breath for a moment. I'll pull out a little fan and start fanning myself.
Yeah. So at that point, the others, you all are approaching Julius, and he says in his not normal speaking voice, he says, Champion, Reagan, Brika, a pleasure as always. I apologize for not greeting you sooner, but, decorum must be observed.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's alright. All this is nonsense.
Lord Goring, where's Lady Cynthia at? I had something to talk to her about.
Lady Cynthia, pardon, it's still odd hearing you call her that.
No, I know.
Claudia took her to go and begin meeting young, eligible batch. The things that she's better at than I am.
Okay, I won't interrupt them then.
Is everything all right?
I'm not sure, but something's off. Keep an eye on her for me.
I think I can manage that.
Yeah.
Is Montague all right?
He's fine. I mean, he's not fine. He just got, like, his ass kicked, but he'll be alright. He's off with Lynn somewhere.
Well, I will say this. He certainly provided adequate cover for those of us who wished to make certain movements without being widely observed.
No shit.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm worried about. Not you, obviously. You do whatever you gotta do. But, yeah, and she kind of lowers her voice. She's like, there's someone walking around in a very frowny face mask, and I think they want something with my family.
He sort of thinks about that for a minute, and he picks up his mask, which is sort of discarded, which should have been taken off and put on the table, which is sort of it's a bit of a breach in etiquette. But since there aren't a lot of people here, he seemed comfortable doing it, and he has a mask which looks strikingly similar, but there's a moment, but like as you like focus on the details, some of them are a little bit off, and he says, "This is a popular mask. It's called the Masked Martyr. It's or the Mask of the Martyr, depending on who you ask. It's very popular among masquerades. It doesn't signal anything in particular, but
I'm not worried so much about the mask, but I don't know. Someone wearing that mask had eyes on me, and I'm not sure. Just don't let anybody in that mask near my sister," she says quietly.
I won't. But Reagan, I'm going to tell you this right now. That's a lot of people here.
Well, you got your work cut out for you, don't you, Jules?
Rude.
Speaking of, how is Jules?
Jules is... It's been odd. Honestly, he's very excited about being upstairs.
It's pretty cute, actually. Not gonna lie.
I'm just not really used to that energy in the estate.
That's fair.
The pitter-patter of little children's feet and all.
Little ghost boy feet.
Little ghost boy feet. Kid's amazing at Jenga.
Regardless of his Jenga skills.
I bet you're not too shabby yourself, Lord Goring, since he is you from the past, sort of. I didn't mean to disparage.
There's a moment where he kind of like... Funny you saying that, he sort of like looks off into the distance.
I played Jenga once.
You can almost hear his internal flashback and just like the cheers as someone pulls out the last Jenga tile and it all crashes down.
It was Erwin von Teppler, that's why he cut his throat.
Damn it!
And he says, "I'm sorry, that was a long time ago." Jenga notwithstanding, it's been good to have him up. I didn't realize just what I'd been missing.
I'm glad you're all back together.
In a manner of speaking, I'm not certain of the exact back togetherness of it all yet, but we're working on it. And
one step closer.
At that point, you all begin to hear the ear-splitting shawm of Kahlo.
Thank God!
He is playing literally like 5 feet away from y'all.
Yes!
As he's starting to tune up.
Thank God. While he when he starts playing, Reagan leans in a little bit closer to Julius and is like, "Hey, I need to," and still covert, but now with the additional added cover of Kahlo. I have to have a meeting with the Von Tepplers while I'm here. If I die, take care of my sister. Okay.
Hey, Ethel, can you roll me a perception check to see if you heard that?
I sure can, but I would like to remind you that I do read lips.
Oh, you do! That's right! You don't give a fuck about Kahlo trying to be sneaky. Julius's eyes kind of widen at that, and he says, "Wait, you're going to what?"
Yeah, that was my reaction, too. I don't really have much of a choice.
Reagan, listen to me. If anything at all starts to happen, he reaches into his coat pocket, and he pulls out a small glass bead. No bigger than a marble. And he says, "Think into this. The word start."
What does it do? She takes it.
"It'll get word to me."
Okay.
I'm not sure what exactly I'll be able to do in the moment, so just if anything starts to happen with the Von Tepplers,
I'll let you know. And don't worry about me. Just, if anything happens, make sure that nothing comes back on you guys.
Reagan. He lowers his voice. You're Ellie's sister. We're not going to let anything happen to you. Reagan,
doesn't tear up a bit at that, doesn't look totally bowled over that, friends and stuff. And just kind of nods and says, thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna go try to take care of that now. And she's gonna lean over to Brika. And say, Brika, can you, keep an eye on things out here while I go take care of this?
You've got it.
Thanks. My sister's that way. So, okay, she's gonna, do her little formalities at the end of the conversation with Julius, by which I mean none, and she's gonna go walk over towards Hortensia. If Rufus wants to come with her, he's welcome to, but I don't think she's actually dragging him.
So you're going to go do the sit down now?
Oh shit, now?
Yeah,
well,
Reagan's...
she's gotta find him. We'll have some interlude in there.
Yeah, she's gonna go find Hortensia, but yeah, whatever you need to do in the meantime.
Sure. Rufus is gonna kind of he's gonna walk with you maybe a couple feet, and he's gonna say, "Do you need me there?" To
Reagan kind of just sighs really heavily, and she's, I shouldn't ask you to come with me, but I mean, if I don't know, but I'd feel better if you were there.
All right.
Thanks.
He just kind of shakes his head and he says, you don't have to keep thanking me.
Well, I'm gonna do it anyway, so deal with it. And she's attempting to use humor to cover the fact that she's absolutely terrified.
That's fair. Brika, you got anything else you want to talk to Julius about?
Not really. I mean...
So Jenga.
No, just, don't drive yourself too crazy, Have a good night. Try to stay calm.
He kind of looks like a little confused at that, and he's like, I'm not crazy, Brika. I'm just,
I know you worry about people. Don't worry too much. Try to stay calm, That's all.
He kind of smiles a little bit at that, and he says, I don't do well at these things.
Who does?
Most of them. Have you seen them, Brika?
Everybody's faking. It's so... It's just uncomfortable. Everyone has a mask on. Everyone is doing a little performance. Oh, look at me, I'm so fancy. Oh, look at me, I do my dance. It's bullshit.
I love Pikachu so much.
He just starts laughing at that. He just starts just laughing at that.
God fucking bless.
Julius smiled.
Yes, Brika's quite pleased to have gotten a laugh out.
He sort of catches himself for a minute. He kind of just winces a little bit and he touches the scarring on his throat, and he says, pardon, it's difficult to... Lord, isn't that strange? It's hard to laugh. Well, Brika, I'm not entirely certain what's going to happen tonight, but you know that if any of you need anything, you can come to me.
I appreciate that.
Our friend Julius going.
And if I may make a suggestion, I didn't see the duel, but I heard of it. Next time, I would strongly recommend that Monty has a second that he allows his second to fight the duel for him, because he is not built for that.
It's a funny thing about Montague. He is a stubborn little pain in the ass.
I deserve that.
But?
No buts.
No buts! No buts! No buts!
No, but
That's it.
that's it.
That's it.
He's not going to let anybody try to fight a battle for him.
He kind of smiles and he says, "That much at least we have in common."
Hey, yes, you're both self-sacrificing dumbasses.
I think Rika Cha is Julius Goring's best friend now.
Oh my god, I love that.
Again, like the smile doesn't break, and he just nods at that and he says, "Well, birds of a feather, as they say."
Sorry, I feel like I am being rude. I'm just very hyped up from... I had to yell at a young man, and I was very upset about it.
Just sit down with Julius for the rest of the night. Just hang out, vent.
All things considered, I think that Antillans could do with a bit more rudeness.
Don't give her ideas.
He said I could. Lord Goring said I could. So I will.
I have the blessing of a noble.
Oh, so fancy.
Something kind of catches his attention further away, and he says, "Pardon me, Rika. I need to go deal with something. There's a propensity in masquerades for letters to be ferried through the various servants, so long as you pay them enough. And so I am currently in the process of bribing all of the servants to give me the messages first before they deliver them."
Ooh.
Nice.
That's an interesting party game.
Well, one must keep oneself entertained in matters such as these.
Take care of yourself, Julius.
I'll try. As he sort of stands and needs to walk away, as soon as he stands, the sham cuts out, and Kahlo sort of just hops over, and he says, "As you can see, no one heard you."
Yes! Kahlo's the best. What a bro. I love him so much. Can I marry Kahlo?
No one can marry
fair.
Kahlo. Kahlo, according to his original player, Kahlo is ace/unaware.
Fair enough.
Nice.
Kahlo literally does not know that romance exists.
Fair
He
enough.
was raised in a monastery wherein it was never an option.
And also, he's a bird.
And he's a bird. Let us not forget. He's a bird, and his bones are hollow.
Kahlo did great. Hollow Kahlo.
Hollow the hollow.
Kahlo did an excellent job.
Hello, friends. Thank you so much for coming to this week's episode of Masks and Martyrs, and thanks for letting us take last week off. We sorely needed a break to catch up on mixing. This is your producer, Diana, and I have some housekeeping and plugs to take care of. So first of all, if you're enjoying the show, we would love for you to leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you're listening, and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. You can also find us on Etsy and Patreon. We're currently trying to raise money to get these episodes transcribed so that people who are hard of hearing can listen to them, and also potentially so in the future, if there is ever demand for it, we can re-record them more cleanly. So if you want to support us financially, you can go to etsy.com/shop/masksandmartyrs for merch with all your favorite characters, and our Patreon is patreon.com/masksandmartyrs. If you like this, you'll probably be interested in the other projects on the Nerdification Media Network. I am on the upcoming season finale of the Write Anything podcast, along with a delightful panel of guests, where we talk about all 3 of the original trilogy games in retrospect. And if you want more actual play, but you're in the mood for sci-fi, why not check out our sister podcast, Dwarf Stars and Dreadnoughts? You can also check out our site at nerdification.media to find out about more awesome projects. This week, you know her, you love her, we're giving another shout out to friend of the podcast, Lauren Alexa. Lauren Alexa is an artist and art patron on the Masks and Martyrs Patreon, whose mission it is to encourage everybody to be creative. Her 2020 project is to find a way to earn $60 a day side by side with her daughter. It is a new creative challenge that she'll document throughout the year so that other mothers in a squeeze can find financial independence as well. And of course, there will always be plenty of dumb photo shoots in colorful costumes. She's over at www.lovelylady.life or on Instagram at lovelylady.life. Last but not least are the music credits. Our intro music is Threads of Fate by Thomas Hart and Diana Paparosi. Our mid-roll is Kevin MacLeod's Dreamlike, and our ending theme this week is not Merry Meet Meg by Hopper and the Books on Tape. It was a little too upbeat for the tone at the end here, so instead, we have inserted For Queen and Country by Diana Paparosi, which you may remember from
Reagan's Paralogue episode, Days Gone By. It's kind of our general Gothricker theme. Alright, so I'm going to let you guys get back into the episode now. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and thank you so much for stopping by.
We're gonna cut up to the young lovers.
I like to think Hortensia is the one who makes all the cuts, like when she's narrating for everyone.
God, she's the director.
Like the Twilight Zone narrator, kind of. She's...
Hortensia is the... Did y'all ever see that episode of Billy and Mandy with, where Mandy smiles and they have that weird, like, crow in the smoking jacket? That's Hortensia. That's Hortensia. And she's just like, and she's just like, oh, look at this. I guess the two young lovers are going to meet up somewhere. Isn't that romantic?
Sorry,
God.
you reminded me of the crow in the smoking jacket, and now all I'm thinking is,
His collar.
you've disrupted the natural order!
What a good episode. Monty, Linus helped you get upstairs to one of the secluded alcoves, not one of the alcoves which are designed to be seen from. It's one of the actual private ones, and she helps you down, and it's set up that there's an entry, and there's sort of like two walls, and like if you like sit in one spot, you can actually see down. If you don't, though, you're not able to see down, and there's only really like the entrance exit like little slot visible. And other than that, it's sort of just this like these like two like half circles, sort of like very cozy couches.
What are the walls like?
You're not sure what's behind it, but it's wood paneling, very like ornate wood paneling.
Fine. I was for some reason I was picturing it as like all curtains, and I was like, it's got time for some Hamlet Polonius shit. So
Monty just starts stabbing in curtains. Die!
I just hate curtains.
Okay.
And so she sits, like, helps you get seated. And I think it sort of hits you, too, that for the first time, maybe ever, you are alone. Because there was always librarians or other library goers in the Grand Library, even in your initial days of meeting and becoming friends. But this is the first time you've ever really been alone. In a room designed to be alone in. Lynn, this doesn't seem to have sunk into her yet, because she still seems sort of just in shock. Not like completely shell-shocked, but like she just still seems to be kind of like processing everything that just happened. And she sort of sits down next to you, not thinking, and she's just kind of like staring forward.
Hey, Lynn.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting all of that.
I mean, I don't think anybody could have.
Well, I should, I should have, I mean, I had heard that the last of the rebellions in Hestonia were finishing out, and I didn't think, it didn't seem important at the time. I hadn't heard from Reinhardt in
years, I'm guessing.
Not since we used to, when I was younger, my father and his father were friends from a long time ago. He was one of the only people who was kind to my father, and so they wanted to preserve that. I think he called it the bond of fraternity. I don't really know. He's used a lot of Reinhardt's father used a lot of very flowery language, and I didn't really know what to make of him at first. He was very short. A little, very, very, very short.
Mean shorter than me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he seemed like someone who wasn't really, he didn't want any of this.
Reinhardt didn't?
Not when we first met. He didn't want to be the heir. He wanted to read about fairy tales.
Wow, I can relate.
And now he's... we were supposed to go visit. We would visit every 6 months. We would go there, or they would come here. It's the closest duchy. It makes sense diplomatically, but there was always sort of a... It wasn't...
Undercurrent.
My father would not have been upset if I married Reinhardt. And it would have solidified a lot of political influence for our family. Even if my father would ever lose an election, which at the time didn't seem possible, even then he would have still had a very powerful ally who could offer some protection against reprisals. But the year we were supposed to go there, a week before Reinhardt's father died.
Right, and that's where everything started, I guess.
Originally we were supposed to go to the funeral after that, but there were a number of reports of uprisings, of rebellions. There were 6 total. Counts, minor lords. Everyone wanted to carve out their own little fiefdom or something, and my father wrote to Reinhardt. He sent word, and he asked if he needed support, if he needed anything. And Reinhardt never responded. He never wrote back to me either. And we used to write all the time to each other. He was... Before you, he was the only person that I talked to. I mean, outside of Aldo, but you know Aldo. He's not exactly,
Social? Yeah.
He's just Aldo. And I never knew really what he was going through. I just heard stories of what was happening out there.
Right.
And they were always bad. I know he lost people. I'm glad he didn't lose everyone. Griffin's still with him. Griffin's always been with him, granted, but I didn't think someone could change that much. At least not like that.
Lynn, I've actually got to say I'm worried about him. If he meant to kill me, he could have and should have done it.
Well, not should have, not should have.
Okay, all right. But from his standpoint, moral issues aside, what he set out to do, he had a plan, and he should have done it. And he did not even begin to correctly execute that. And he was so much stronger than me. But I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't pulling, well, maybe he was pulling his punches. But I'm worried about his well-being. And I don't know if I should be thinking that of guy who walked into a room and slapped me in the face in front of everyone in Hintilla, but I don't know. I'm I'm not gonna kill him, but I think that's really, honestly, what he wanted. I think. And I don't want to leave you here alone with all the cloak and daggers. And I'm sure his friends are there to take care of him. But I worry about him being alone tonight. You know?
Yeah. I don't know what to do, really.
I know. And he wouldn't talk.
No.
I gave him every chance. I tried. And I couldn't. If there's something that somebody in his position has been taught to do, other than to hold a sword and how to parry, it's how to talk. What are we missing? I'm sorry. I shouldn't be...
No. You're fine. I don't think that it's anything that... It's not your job, especially, to make sure that he's okay. He shot you with an arrow, Monty. 3 arrows. I distinctly ripped... No, Monty, you can't... I don't know how the rest of tonight or the week or the season or the election or anything is going to play out. I really don't. But I need you to promise me something, okay, Monty?
Anything.
Whatever happens, please don't die.
I won't. I promise. It's easy as that. And it sounds like maybe as a promise so easily made that it's easily broken, but I won't die. I can't. You're here. I'm not gonna leave you.
She doesn't say anything. She just leans in and kisses you. Just a very gentle kiss, and then she says, "I believe you."
Okay. Have I ever told you I love you? I mean, maybe it's a bit strong, but
she turns.
I did shove a ring in your hand.
So red, just all over, and she just kind of looks down, blushing furiously. And
Monty
she
kind
says,
of leans over and pinches her cheek a little bit.
She just kind of shakes her head and she stop it.
You're cute. You're cute.
I love you too, Monty.
Listen, so the ring I gave you,
At that point, Monty,
oh shit,
you hear a voice that says,
"Hey, fuck you, whoever that is."
Oh, you will not like this, dude.
It's gonna be a bad day.
You hear this very heavy footsteps, boots walking towards your alcove, and a voice saying, I wonder who could be in here. I wonder if it's my sister.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Now you know how it feels to have a collar on your back. Except it's Aldo.
I feel like I'm learning a lot about siblings today, too.
Yes. Yes, you are. We're teaching you.
Lynn just kind of she immediately just stands up and is still just very, very red.
Do you want me to take care of it?
As you say that, the pace of the footsteps redouble, and you hear, I really hope no one's gonna take care of anything for my sister. and then Aldo sticks his head, his big dumb head, around the corner, and he says, "Hey, what are you up to?"
Monty does that little chin up, yo.
Gosh.
That's good.
He like reflexively goes to return it, then he like catches himself half there, and he's like, "Don't you chin up me."
Monty is just like really trying not to laugh, and it's starting to crack.
He goes, got something in your throat, bud?
I do. It's hi. Welcome.
Hi.
Would you like to join us on our couch?
Gross and no.
Not like that.
Look, I don't know what you get up to, okay?
I don't even know what you're
Mr.
thinking.
Pennsmith, okay?
Why are we like this, Aldo? Why are we like this?
I know. I don't know why you're like this. But I know why I'm like this. I am protecting the honor of my family and my sister.
No, I mean that's fair.
And Lynn
that's a perfect.
Lynn just kind of like punches him in the arm.
That's
and he
also fair.
And he just kind of like looks at him and he goes, "Look, actually, they're gonna start serving hors d'oeuvres soon, and Mom and Dad need you back." Lynn just looks kind of like, honestly, just frustrated by that.
Yeah.
And she turns back to you and she says, "Do you wanna maybe after there's a final toast to the night after food and dancing. Did you wanna maybe go for a walk after that?"
Yeah. Actually, that'd be great. So maybe save a dance for me?
I think I can do that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And just so we're clear, like, Aldo is like a pretty strapping dude, and he's like easily over a head taller than both of you, and he's kind of standing in between this, just like looking back and forth. And he's just like,
chin nod at him.
Lynn kind of gives your hand takes your hand and gives it a squeeze, and then she says, "Mr. Pensmith, I look forward to our dance." And then she exits. Aldo falls behind her. However, as he like pauses in the doorway, turns back, and like two fingers at his eyes, and then at you, just like, I'm watching you.
Monty gives him a thumbs up.
He reflexively goes the thumbs up, and then stops and just.
Man, we could be friends. We could be homies.
You don't. You do not have a sister, bud. You don't have a sister, bud. You don't have a sister.
Monty's now kind of like pondering. No, probably not.
and then he's gonna leave as well.
Okay.
What do you do now, Monty? What's your next step in the agenda? We're gonna cut away from you real quick. But what is Monty's next step, so I can start formulating that.
Well, first I'm going to make sure I can stand easily on my own with no problem.
You've recovered. The bountiful power of love brought Monty back.
Love in my heart. Love. I'm going to walk out to... No, that would be bad. That would be bad optics. To walk out to the balcony and look down.
Do it.
I'm going to walk out the way that Lynn and Aldo came. And when I get to an area where I have a decent view of the room, I'd like to see if I can see Osiris again.
Sure. Roll me a perception check.
That's an 11.
Okay. So it's not hard. Most people have filtered back in now from the duel outside. So Osiris is down there. She's just chatting. She's chatting with sort of a hard-edged man. She doesn't seem perturbed or anxious or anything. She's just chatting, just having a conversation.
Okay.
What you do notice as well, as you're kind of scanning the room, it's very brief. It just catches your eye. Movement behind you, maybe 30 feet back in the corridor. It's a curved corridor, right? Mm-hmm. So you sort of lose sight of people around bends. You just see a figure is turning away, is wearing what looks to be this mask, which is this mask like sort of etched in sorrow. as soon as you see them, they are already in the process of going the other way.
Okay, all right.
Ethel, anything you want to do before we have the very dramatic sit down?
So I think Ethel at this point is just kind of waiting.
Okay. Sure.
Though I still, what are Anastasia and Lord Limter up to?
Anastasia and Lord Limter have entered, and there was kind of a pretty brief kind of puppy dog thing of him following her around at her heels. She then sort of directs him to go sit at his table, and he goes seemingly contentedly, just fine with it. And then she just begins moving through the people, talking, chatting. This is her element. More so than anyone else in Hintilla, I think she's built for this. Meanwhile, Lord Limter sits just alone at his table.
Can Ethel bustle over there and take a seat?
Sure. You approach and you sort of just sit down, and he kind of looks at you a little confused, and he says, "Hello."
Hello. Lovely to meet you. My name is Ethel Amblum. I'm so sorry for just sitting down, but you look like you could use some company.
Oh, thank you. Alfred Limter. The younger.
Oh, lovely to meet you. Yes, of course. And I see you're here with Lady Anastasia.
Yes, we did come together. Yes, we did.
How lovely. Are you enjoying yourself this evening?
So far, yes. The duel was
oh my.
Was a little surprising. I hope it doesn't follow the pattern of the last masquerade with my father. Sorry, that was a bad joke. That was a bad joke. It was a bad joke.
You poor dear. This must be so very hard for you. So many bad memories.
Yes, it's... People don't really want to be associated with me right now, which I understand that feeling. It's hard to look at it's hard to be nice to the son of the man who killed, was it? I think the last count was 19 people? This is not going well. I am so sorry. This is not a good conversation that I am having with you.
Oh, young man. Please do not worry. I'm the one who simply popped over here and sat down uninvited. I think, though, it is important for you to remember that you are more than just your father's son.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. Doesn't feel like that some days.
No, it usually doesn't. That's why one must be vigilant.
Vigilant against what, exactly?
Why, oneself.
That's... I've never heard that before, but that kind of makes sense, actually.
Yes, most of what I say makes sense. People just don't seem to listen.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to imply that.
No offense taken, my dear.
I haven't really been out since. They wanted to make sure that I wasn't involved in the thing.
Oh my.
Sorry, the zombies and the lightning.
Oh yes, but how terrible that you were suspected.
I mean, I understand. It wasn't, I understand. It was not... It's not the sort of thing that you expect your father to do, is try and murder, everyone you know, pretty much. But here we are. And there we are, I guess. Anyways, then you hear a voice cutting in which says, "Alfred, care to introduce us?" And you see, standing there behind you, Ethel is Anastasia Minata. Just sort of smiling, just looking at you.
Are you going to seduce him?
Obviously.
Ethel plays hardball, okay?
Silver
Well,
fox.
now you'll never know what I had planned.
I mean, the night's still young.
But I'm still young. Yep.
There's only been one duel.
Well, Ethel will turn around and go, "Oh my, Lady Minata! Ethel Amblum, at your service."
A pleasure. Can you give me just give me a deception check real quick?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Is it my +5 deception check?
Oh yeah.
Because of
Oh,
the stuff?
Oh yeah. You got that shadow.
Yeah, I got that shadow. That's a 33.
Man, I'll say this. She got like a 23, and it still just doesn't fucking matter. It just doesn't
Any other
fucking
roll.
matter. Oh man, brutal doodle. She is none the fucking wiser.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
You are now fucking inscrutable.
And she says, "A pleasure, Lady Amblum. My name is Anastasia Minata.
The pleasure is all mine, Lady Minata.
So, I see you two are hitting it off nicely.
Well, I suppose it's the, well, I'm not a grandmother, but the great aunt in me. I just can't stand seeing a young person sitting by themselves."
Oh, well, I'm sure Alfred was simply collecting himself. It's been a difficult few months for him, hasn't it,
Oh,
Alfred?
yes.
He just nods. She says, "So, Lady Emblem, what exactly does your family do?"
Oh, well, we sort of dabble in all sorts of things. You may have heard of my great-nephew, actually, Arola Amblum. He is a captain in the Navy. We're very proud of him.
Oh, and what vessel does he captain?
The Lady Knight.
Very interesting.
Well, I would not want to get in the way of two young people and their, affections, so I shall be on my way. Thank you so much, Lord Limter, for your lovely conversation, and Lady Minata, again, a pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure is the same and returned. Lord Limter is just like, yeah, thank you. Thanks.
You are quite welcome, young man. And then she bustles off.
Off she bustles.
Yeah. Ethel, there is very little chance that Anastasia, barring something like very dramatic requiring her attention, there's very little chance that Anastasia will allow her one of her prize game pieces to be manipulated by someone else.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Unless
At
there was
this
a
point, I'm not
distraction.
even convinced they're in love.
Well, I think someone's in love.
Lord Limter, I don't think he's like in love of his own free will.
I think he is.
I think he is. I
Anastasia's
just think
hot.
Anastasia's, yeah,
She's a fucking hottie.
she knows how to play this game.
So, Rufus and Reagan are approaching Hortensia, who
Where is
is...
Brika, by the way?
Brika is over with Kahlo, sort of like in universe. They like just finished talking to Julius. You see, Hortensia is making a drink to this sort of like large cloaked figure, wearing this like impressive like sort of like Cyrano de Bergerac like hat, like very like big old flower sticking out of it.
Nice.
Who's facing her, and she's explaining like, and you see, the trick with making any kind of drink, this is the trick. You want to know the secret? I'll tell you the secret. Let me tell you. Put a lot of liquor in it. That's all you gotta do. Works great for me. And as you're approaching, she's, "Oh, Reagan, hi. How are you? Y'all ready? Y'all set?"
Yeah. Yep, I'm great.
That's great. It's very good of you to come do this. It really is. Mr. Well, I don't want to give away his secret identity, but he'll be keeping an eye on things while we're gone. And turning around, it's his quote-unquote secret identity is not very secret. It's very hard to not recognize Dreadbane.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Reagan immediately relaxes. Because that's her best friend, Dreadbane.
Nimian somewhere just like from his alcoholic stupor just goes falls asleep again.
And Reagan's like, hey! Like, she legit, I'm not joking, seeing Dreadbane actually sets her at ease. She likes Dreadbane.
Yeah. He kind of gives you finger guns. Even though there's no such thing as finger guns in this world, finger guns only exist.
There are, because Reagan's given them many times, and then catching on, it's a trend.
No, I'm saying, like, guns don't exist.
Oh,
so, but
Reagan
these
does
are,
the same, though.
These have no...
Funny pointing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are only, like, camaraderie, like, pointing camaraderie.
See, actually, they
right
will
there.
later model the gun off of the shape of the finger gun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now all I'm picturing is people running around with, like, guns, but they look like they're, like, giant metal fingers. Like,
Oh, Jesus, fuck.
Sorry. He says, "Hey there. How are you doing?"
I'm good. I'm horrible. I'm not having a great night. But
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. Anyway, it's good to see you. How you been? How's the wife?
Little bummed that I got knocked out of the mayhem, but
Oh yeah.
you know.
Sorry about that, dude. Have you met? And she kind of gestures to Rufus. This is. Well, I don't want to give away your identity.
No, yeah, we during the attack where the aftermath of when we met, Champion was pretty instrumental in the mop up operation. Yeah, well, it was just trying to help.
Yeah, he's good for that. Anyway, remember Rufus? Remember I told you how I fist fought a dragon? This guy.
Well, okay, hold on now. That's a little extreme.
I don't know. That's how I remember it.
Let's see. No fists were involved on your end.
Well, no, but you know what I mean.
And there were 3 of you, so I think
Were there?
really.
Were there?
Yeah,
Oh,
there
yeah,
were 3.
Brika
Yeah. You're.
I was not involved. I will say that.
You're
No, I
half elf.
forget because she's so stealthy. I forgot I never actually saw her there. I just heard about it later.
And you're half elf bud.
Oh yeah, no, Nimian's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's. I mean, look. You did real good, but I don't think it's going to go that way again if we ever do.
Yeah,
Not saying we
hey,
will.
you never know what's going to happen next year's mayhem, right?
I know what's going to happen in next year's mayhem.
Oh, did they Wait, is it fixed? Is the mayhem rigged?
No, I'm going to fucking win it. Jeez.
Oh well, we'll see about that.
I'm not gonna lose the crown. So many, come on. It's supposed to be my comeback here. It's gonna do the whole reveal. It's gonna be great.
Nice. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
So, I'll be keeping an eye on things here. Hortensia will get you there. It's gonna have to ask the champion to stay here, though.
And Reagan tenses up again. She's like,
Look.
Yeah. No,
It's Hortensia will be there. She's more than... If things get messy, she can handle...
Reagan turns to Rufus while Dreadbane's talking to him. Why don't you go see how Lord Goring's doing?
I mean...
It's fine.
I think I'm just gonna wait here, or outside of whatever door that is.
Yeah, cool. Good. And she turns to Hortensia and she's like, well, let's get this over with.
Hortensia says, hold on 1 second, okay? And she's just like finishing pouring like this, probably what's easily like just a quart of this mixed drink that she's making. And it's like very like kind of fruity and tropical looking. It has like a little like umbrella out of it. And she finally finished it and she goes, and done. Okay, let's go. And then she starts like sipping it as she goes.
Okay, and Reagan reluctantly follows her. Like, it's like you just killed her dog. But yeah.
Rufus is going to like before you follow, he's gonna just kind of step in close. He's gonna say, I don't have anything magic or anything, but just really just make a big ruckus and I'll come running.
She laughs a bit and she's I think you'll find out if anything, so thanks. And She gives him a small kiss on the cheek and then goes and follows Hortensia. And still looks like
Can I count that? Can I
Still
count
looks
that for
like
bingo?
someone shot her dog, but she figures she might be about to die, so she might as well do that.
Rufus is just kind of like frozen in the spot at that. He's just like,
Aw.
Rufus.
How does girl?
Rufus doesn't really know how to have functional relationships, so this is all very new for him. Hortensia leads you off into some side quarters, and then there's a small room ahead of you, and she says, "Okay, hey, you okay? You can tell me if you're not okay, okay?
What? What me?
Hey,
What?
you're my special girl." She boops your nose.
I don't fucking know you!
Oh, it's okay. It's important to have someone in your corner, okay? One time, long time ago, but not that long ago, I'm not that old. Let's just say that I had a bit of a rendezvous with a certain someone. And when I went home that night, I told Mira, I said, I think she's the one. I think she's the one. And Mira was drunk and passed out, but you know what I mean.
Wait, you think I'm nervous about that? No, I'm nervous about meeting with Elaine von Teppler. What do you...
Oh, but why?
Why wouldn't I be?
Now it's really.
Reagan, I told you, nothing's gonna happen, okay?
Yeah, sure. Forgive me if I don't believe the word of her enforcer. But yeah.
I'm not her enforcer.
Well, no, I know that's Dreadbane, but you're like friends with her and shit. Listen, forgive me if I don't trust you, Miss Crow.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna be sassy. Gonna be a little sassy. Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, I just have to pick out your dress and all, which apparently has been working wonders, but okay, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, huh? Thank you for the pockets, by the way. The pockets are good.
Of course, you gotta have pockets.
Yeah, that was a nice touch. Yeah. Anyway.
Let's listen. In all honesty, if there's ever a point where you feel like you need to take a break or need to step outside, you just let me know, okay? And we'll do that, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Alright. And hey.
Yeah,
You look nice.
thanks.
Yeah. And then, she's gonna walk you forward.
Alright.
Inside this room, it's sort of like a little alcove, like a little smoking room. It's not very big. There are a few bookshelves, sort of like very like dark, rich coloring browns and deep reds, and sort of these like very deeply stained hardwood floors. There is a table in the middle, which has sort of those like claw feet to them around the ball. It's just this very old mahogany table, and there is sort of this little carafe of water. There are 2 glasses, and sitting there is Elaine von Teppler.
Reagan kind of freezes for a good 5 or 6 seconds, like long enough that it's awkward. And then she goes and pours herself a glass of water, like fills it, and then throws it back in one shot, as is her tradition. And she sits down. And she does not make eye contact with Elaine von Teppler yet.
Hortensia kind of like steps in and closes the door, and she just leans on the wall, ready to get involved if things get rough. There's sort of like a long minute of just quiet. And then Elaine says, "I honestly don't know what to do with you.